like to call the April 28th Cedar Lake Park Board public meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Ashley, if you would please do the roll call.
Mr. Holste?
Present.
Mr. Marquardt?
Present.
Ms. Miller? Present. Mr. Rodriguez will be absent. Ms. Shevens? Coming in. Ms. Shevens? Here. Mr. Gergel?
Here.
Ms. Vanberg? Here. Ms. Abernathy in lieu of Mr. Salatas? Present. Ms. Abernathy present. Mr. Austin is currently absent.
Okay, we have a quorum. Item number 1 on the consent agenda is the approval of the March 24th, 2022 work session and public meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I give a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Miller.
No, second.
Second by Greg. Can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Holste?
Yes.
Mr. Marquardt?
Yes.
Ms. Miller? Yes.
Okay. Item number 2 is surveys for park activities and amenities, which is something that we were working with the town manager, Mr. Salatas, about, and he's not here, so we're going to defer that to the May meeting. Do we need that in the form of a motion?
It is more appropriate to do so.
Okay. Can I get a motion to defer item number 1, or item number 1 on old business for the May meeting, please?
I'll give a motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Sarah.
I second.
Okay, second from Greg. Ashley, would you please do the roll call?
Mr. Holste?
Yes?
Mr. Marquardt?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 2 is from the previous meeting discussing soccer as a parks and recreation activity. The only thing that I'd like to bring to the board members and people in the audience's attention is we were able to ascertain, if you go to page 14 on the iPads, we have the 2018 soccer program season report, which, to the best of my knowledge, would have been the last or second to last year we had soccer in the community. I'll get to the main point of my concern is we took a $3,425.50 loss with that program in 2018. Obviously that's not desirable, but I bring to the board members' attentions some of the expenses that we do need to think about when we do decide to bring back this program or any programming. Obviously, you cannot be successful and it's not responsible to take a financial loss. So, you know, the suggestion was made as far as revenue, because there isn't any funds to start soccer, is that we have an early enough registration season, knowing what the expenses potentially would be, and make sure that we're going to meet, I mean, at the very least, break even. But I think just in looking through this, you know, sponsorships really helps offset some of that cost. And I know there's been sponsors in the past, so I don't know, you know, what exactly occurred, what anticipated expenses were and actual expenses were, but either way, there was a $3,425.50 loss. So it also notes at the bottom that the staff cost doesn't include anything with town hall, administrative staff with registrations, phone calls and such. And it also didn't include field paint, supplies, public works staff, mowing, setup, and takedown. So just because we discussed it in the last meeting, it's on our old business, and we've got this information, I would just like everyone to review that. And as we start to build these programs, we need to build them to be not only successful and beneficial to the community, but we need to be financially responsible and make sure that we're not losing money in the process. So, that's really all I had regarding soccer at this point. We have no new developments as far as a recreation coordinator. We're moving forward with this. So do any of the board members have anything they'd like to add regarding the 2018 report or the soccer?
No, just we'd have to review the previous fees and make up for the difference.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait for a coordinator to start really getting into this.
Well, you know, that, and again, it's known to council people, to me personally, to other people in the community, there is a demand to bring back soccer. I really would like to bring back soccer and have it be successful and not an embarrassment, and let's be smart and calculated about it. You know, the community's changed, there's new businesses, which means new opportunities for sponsorships. You know, you never know. So again, I only bring this to us because we talked about it last meeting. It's here again, because we actually have some numbers to look at, and maybe we can kind of try to break this down when it comes next time. Now, the nice thing is we have supplies from previous, so that's an expense we don't need. The fields have the nets. We just got to make sure they're in good working order, and so that'll save us a little bit of money. So at this point, I have nothing further to discuss. I think we can kind of put this away till we're ready to move forward. I don't think it needs to be on the next agenda, so until we have a coordinator and a plan, we can go ahead and move forward with this as far as just putting it away for now. Next in new business is playground mulch options. We have 5 new parks being placed, 2 of which have already been placed. One at Kiwanis Park and one at
Woods of Cedar Creek.
Thank you, Woods of Cedar Creek. They have both been installed. There's no mulch. They still need to be leveled. I went out and checked them out. The job sites have been cleaned up fairly well. The equipment is present. When it comes to the playground mulch, the discussion has been had amongst us and the Director of Operations and other people about getting the rubber mulch instead of the traditional mulch, which comes at a higher cost, but it's a little bit more durable, a little bit longer lasting. I think it'll look nicer. It doesn't turn into mud, you know, and the barriers that are surrounding the park play structures are sturdy. I think they'll retain it well. So for the board and those following along, page 15, 16, and 17 are prices from 3 different companies. And I'll back this up a bit. We do have approval from Mr. Austin to use park impact fees for the purchase because it falls under safety. It's new construction, and he felt it was his opinion that we could do so. So I will get to the bottom line. The first company is I'm trying to find the name here. Kid Stuff Play Systems. They came in at an estimated cost, including delivery, of $48,148 to complete all 5 parks. The second company, Recycled Rubber Products out of Joliet, came in at $36,808. And the third one was IMC Outdoor Living in St. Louis, Missouri. Shipping and everything, we were looking at $52,148. Mr. Kubiak and I have spoke. They have previous dealings with recycled rubber projects out of Joliet. And we had a conversation yesterday, myself and Margaret and Mr. Kubiak. There's a $5,200 shipping cost if they deliver it. Mr. Kubiak had stated that he would be willing to have Public Works, 1 dump truck, 5 trips, and for the cost of fuel in that one driver, it would obviously be substantially cheaper than $5,200 in shipping. It would be whatever.
Also, you would also have the $2,408 off in tax because we are an ST 105. So it'd be $7,608 savings.
Okay, so that's substantial, which obviously the other company, I believe they were in Miller Beach, so we could do the same with them, but even if you take the shipping off of their bid, they're not the cheapest. And then obviously, I think it goes without saying, St. Louis, Missouri is not close at all. There was a sample that had been going around. I mean, it's rubber mulch. We are looking at blue, which would be a close match to the roofs of the new play equipment. The other discussion was we have a lake, water's blue. Hopefully after the dredge, our water's bluer. I am going to, Margaret, you didn't by chance do the math for me there, did you?
Well, the subtotal would be your total, $29,200.
Perfect, yeah, So, this would be, making a recommendation to the council to release the funds in the amount of $29,200 to recycled rubber products for the mulch to accommodate the 5 new parks utilizing park impact fees. Can I get a motion for that, please?
I'll motion.
Okay, I have a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second from Greg. Is there any other discussion?
No, I agree that as far as longevity wise, and I've seen how when it's rainy, the shredded rubber mulch keeps the parks dry, and there's, kids, if they pick it up, they're not gonna get splinters, so.
Again,
there's a lot of good features to it.
Yeah, I think the other thing is we don't have to burden, Public Works as often with replacing it. We save labor hours that way. It's got some cush, so if you fall, maybe it hurts a little bit less. I don't know. When I'm 42 years old now and I feel like every fall hurts, but maybe when you're a kid it hurts a little bit less. So, Ashley, would you please do a roll call?
Mr. Holstein?
Yes.
Mr. Markort?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item number 2 under new business is Kiwanis Park. If you reference page 18, we have the Kiwanis Park plat from the GIS showing property lines. So the original reason that this was being discussed is there's been some concern about proximity of the park equipment to the train tracks. So I've been doing some homework on this. I know this is going to come up later. I reached out to New Toys. I spoke with them to see if they were aware of any standards regarding park equipment placement and that type of stuff, and they said that they are not aware of any. I spoke with the Crown Point Parks and Recreation Department. They too were not aware of any standard. We are 55 feet from the edge of the bumper, the equipment bumper, to the tree line, and I believe it was an additional 35 feet, right, Dale?
Yes.
So 35 feet from that tree line to the train tracks. It would look silly to put a fence from 137th to the beginning of that tree line. So the discussion was to potentially do it with natural vegetation. The original thought was, and I say this wrong, my wife corrects me and I'm still probably going to say it wrong, the arborvitae, am I saying that right? I think I was calling it arbor vitae earlier, whatever. There was immediate concern about line of sight and placement going over our property lane into the right-of-way of the railroad and the easement and so on and so forth. And if we really wanted to pursue that, I was told it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year to get the railroad to even acknowledge or make a change or give us permission to do so. Full disclosure to the board, I'm not necessarily looking to purchase anything at this point. I would just like to discuss, do we want to put some natural vegetation? So page 19 is kind of a moot point. I have on page 20 a quote from Leo's for what they recommended to achieve a natural barrier, for lack of better words. The original thought was boxwoods, wasn't it?
I think that's what.
Yeah, and Leo's basically told us we'd be wasting our money planting them that close and that many. He guaranteed us that there would be plenty of them that would die and we'd be replacing them, and it was a waste. His recommendation based on what we're trying to achieve in the region was these yew densiforms. So we were looking at 19 of them, and we were giving consideration to running it from 137th to the natural tree line, and that's what he felt we would need. And that is out the door $1750.28, and that's including installation. So I would like to hear the board members' thoughts on this. Is this something that you guys would like to pursue or look further into?
I would definitely say look further into. I agree that gap at least should be filled.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look more into this particular recommended plan because I'm not familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But a natural barrier, I think, is a good concept to look into.
And what I gathered of these plants, because I'm the worst person with plants, is that they would be similar to the hedges that you see in people's yards where they're low, but they're not too low. They don't grow super high. They're easy to maintain. So, and the other thing is we're planting plants. Everyone's supposed to like that. And it also provides a little bit of a barrier, provides a nicer look to the property that's out there. Greg, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
You know, by that area not being, by the tree line stopping where it does, it just gives people the feeling of uneasiness because of the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're looking at it, you're like, oh my God, there's railroad tracks right there. Even though it's not really a problem, it just looks bad. These would definitely be helpful.
So I spent some time on Google Maps today and the GIS website, and I was given some parks to reference in the Munster area, which has train tracks running past a lot of their parks, and I was given distances. The three parks I was given, White Oak Park, West Lakes Park, and I can't remember the third right off the top of my head, all of them have a natural tree line in front of their train tracks. Not a single one of their parks has a fence. The distance on White Oak Park was a little bit greater than ours. West Lakes was shorter, or comparable to the distance we're dealing with. And again, I'm just gonna acknowledge it because I know I have to. We're not, it's already been brought to our attention that it's not being safe by setting that park equipment where we are, and obviously we're not looking to put our children in jeopardy. And it seems to be multiple parks in the county are close to train tracks, and they've done similar things to mitigate that, whether that's vegetation or whatever. I was told in Hobart they have to stop softball games because of the proximity to the tracks, but they have a softball park that's close to train tracks. So the only side discussion I would like to bring up, and since I have council members here, Chuck from New Toys did suggest the thought of a fence if we were going to put like a soccer field back there or a baseball field where items would be going that way. And, you know, he had said, do you guys have a master plan for that park? And all I have is this one here from Sumac, the layout. I don't have anything other than that, so.
So I believe that our plan and what has been ordered or should be getting ordered is the playground equipment, the dog park. If none of this is done, the park isn't really open.
Right.
We intend to put a basketball court and a pavilion, and that's about it.
Okay.
So I don't see a need for a fence.
And again, I mean, he basically said if you shift your layout, that would be the only reason he would consider, entertaining that. Otherwise, he felt as well that the natural tree line there suffices.
It does.
Again, Miss Miller and I went out there with Chuck and Dale when they kind of painted out where things were, and I'd like to think I'm a responsible adult. I have a child. It didn't, I've been in public safety for 23 years, and it didn't raise the hairs on the back of my neck.
I think, again, my other point to that was the 2 to 5 year old playground, and clearly 2 to 5 year olds should not or are not out without their parents or somebody supervising them. So if they're on their cell phones and their kids go to the track, whose fault is that?
Well, and the other thing that was kind of...
You can't give everybody common sense.
I mean, this has been on my mind since I kind of heard it surface, just because that's me. And someone brought up a good point. We have parks that are close to the lake. Did we put a fence up to prevent people from falling into the lake?
Right.
But again, I think that there is a nice way to mitigate this, and I think we should give it more consideration. So, for now, I am looking for just a motion to table the discussion of vegetation at Kiwanis Park from the tree line to 137th. So if I can get a motion to table that for further discussion.
I'll motion it.
Okay.
Yeah, second.
Okay, Ashley?
Mr. Holstein?
Yes?
Mr. Markworth?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Okay, reports and updates. Ms. Sandberg?
I didn't text you what I texted you.
That's okay. I won't be able to find it on the iPad anyways, I'm still learning.
You know what, I just did these like this afternoon, but really, it's pretty small. The
Okay.
action we've had with the Park Impact Fund. A couple of minor items were purchased for electrical for the Kiwanis Dog Park. We paid out the claims for the first round of updates to the clubhouse. That included, Margaret can help me a little better with that, that one included never mind, I put it on your second page. So we paid out the lights, the range, the first round of tables, chairs, the trolley cart. What else was on there?
That's great.
About it for the first round.
That's great.
And then since we got all the playground equipment in, we also paid that claim out.
Okay, nothing seems
Pretty much.
out of the ordinary, so,
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Public Works, Tim, Dale, their guys are still moving forward with what they need to continue doing with the dog park and getting the new playground equipment installed at the appropriate park.
okay. All right, do any board members have any questions for Jennifer before I move on to item 2?
No.
Greg?
No.
Okay. Item number 2 is the Chamber of Commerce Business Showcase. Greg and Sarah attended, representing the park board. Was that last weekend? Last Saturday. Sarah, would you like to talk about that at all?
Sure. It was a nice event. We got some good feedback. A lot of comments brought up about needing senior activities. fully agree, and definitely, on the mind, we're working on things. And we got a few volunteers. There was also commentary about, more for kids to do, splash pad was brought up. Fishing, access to the lakes, some of the common themes, people want more access to the water.
Okay. Greg, did you by chance bring the suggestion box items? Otherwise, I'll pull up your email and we can talk about it.
It's just an email.
Okay, that's fine. Let me see if I can find that email. So we can at least talk about, it sounds like people actually, took the time to write some constructive feedback, which is great. Bear with me.
I can tell you one was brought up about porta
There we go.
potties at more
Yes.
locations.
Okay, so items in the suggestion box, there was, as Sarah just said, porta potties in every park. Obviously, that comes at a cost, and that's obviously something we can talk about as the park season goes on. I would say that, when you're at a park with your child, if your child or even you have to use the bathroom, it is slightly inconvenient if you have to leave and go find somewhere to go. I get that. So, 6 or more comments about lack of senior activities. We hear ya. We'd love to bring them all to you. And honestly, the upgrades at the the monastery clubhouse are as a board, that's where we kind of envision hosting some of those things. So it's on our radar. We hear ya.
Preferably before 5 years.
What's that?
Preferably before 5 years.
Before 5 years. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll try to make that one a sprint instead of a slow jog. Okay. We'll do what we can. This one I wasn't really familiar with. Centennial Park, and I meant to look this up. Centennial Park, are we responsible for the maintenance and the upkeep of this area? And I meant to look off the top of my head. I was drawing a blank where Centennial Park was, and I still am.
On the north side of 141st,
Okay.
by MacArthur School, the new MacArthur School. Or, not MacArthur, excuse me, middle school. Right? Middle
Okay.
school. Wrong one came out of my mouth, my apologies.
Okay, so I'll defer to someone else in the room then. Are we aware, is that our park?
Dale.
We are not.
Okay, we're not maintaining that?
We do not maintain Centennial Park.
Okay.
I don't know who does.
I
think might be
believe,
association maybe.
I think so, Dale, yeah.
Okay.
I believe that is still under the association of the developer, unless they are past 80% of their development. The developer maintains control of the HOA, and they're still working through several phases. So that's probably still being maintained by the developer at this point.
The only thing the town does there is we plow their streets for them.
Still can't. It's still in community. Yeah. Can you highlight the park up there, Ashley?
It's, 2 parcels, because that's the back portion, and this is the front portion with the parking lot for it.
Okay, so then, not even to the best of our knowledge, factually, that is not our park yet.
Who does it show as ownership on that?
Centennial of Cedar Lake Community Association.
Okay.
The HOA.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then fishing piers on the larger retention ponds, great idea. Sports programs, we hear ya. More shelters and more parks. I guess we have to.
Those are coming.
I mean, there's shelters coming, and then we'll have to see where people want more. Outdoor event stage, we have one. And again, that was discussed in our previous meeting, that we too would love to see live music and those types of events happening in this community. So it's nice to see that we're aligning with something. Add swings to Monastery Park. I thought, were there swings out there?
No, they're coming.
They're coming. That's part of the update with Monastery Park.
Yeah.
Correct.
They are, would you like to know the information when they're gonna start putting the playground in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Lynn's Way is getting done May 5th and 6th, and then Monastery North is that Saturday the 7th.
Okay.
They will have the both new parks installed.
You said May 6th and 7th?
May 5th through 7th.
Okay.
5th and 6th, they start the 5th, they're not gonna get it done, they'll come back that Friday, finish that, and then go over to Monastery North.
Okay.
They're quick, they do a nice job.
Okay.
Just won't have the mulch yet, obviously.
And I know RJ's here, so if we want to talk about this in public comment, you're more than welcome to, but there was an item on here about a marshy area on the southwest corner of the lake that used to be accessible for fishing and outdoor activities. There is dirt road access by Pinecrest Marina and another off 153rd. Someone had padlocked these entrances. Is this public land? And then there was a map provided, so we can discuss that more in public comment if we want. But those are the notes we have from the chamber showcase, and does Greg or Sarah, do you have anything else you'd like to add regarding that?
No, it was nice.
It pretty much covers it.
Perfect. So I just noticed something, and I am a man who can admit my flaws, and that's even on record. Item number 1 on the consent agenda was not the ranking of the items for Chris. That was going live with the survey that we created. So I'm assuming I can go backwards and we can readdress that, because we made a defer on something completely unrelated.
I will defer to Ms. Abernathy on that one.
You approved the minutes,
They deferred the survey.
and you deferred the survey or tabled.
I thought that was Chris's wish list.
Oh, no, we removed that one, the
Right,
ranking of the.
right.
Yeah, so you want to readdress that?
Yes, let's readdress that.
What you will need to do is Sarah will have to make a motion to cancel this motion,
Okay,
to withdraw her previous motion.
okay,
He will have to second, and then you can proceed to make a new motion.
perfect.
Thank
So let's do that,
I knew that was her.
if you so desire.
I would like to make a motion to remove my previous motion.
Withdraw.
Withdraw.
I would second that.
Perfect.
Mr. Holstein?
Yes.
Mr. Markort?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Okay, so under old business, there is item number 1, which is survey for park activities and amenities. And now that I've cleared the cobwebs, the purpose of this is exactly what we did at the Chamber Showcase, which is we're looking for opinions from the community, what they want out of their park system, park programs, so on and so forth. I worked with Cliff Rowe. We created something very simple that will be on the town's website. We can put it on social media. I know there's some next door fans out there, so I'll make sure that or neighbors or whatever that is, I'll make sure it gets to them. I will talk with Cliff to see if we can make the link easy to access, that we can put it on the water bill or whatever, but in a fashion that it's not 27 characters long like a lot of web addresses. We'll see if we can make that doable. But again, we talked about it, we reviewed it in the last meeting. I'd like to get a motion to get that live so that we can start giving people the opportunity to voice their opinions regarding parks and recreation in this community and their hopes and desires. So let's try that. I'd like a motion for that, please.
I will motion that.
Okay, I have a motion from Sarah.
I would second that motion.
I have a second from Greg. Is there any further discussion?
No, just to say that we're excited to hear everybody's feedback, and we hope that some surveys are filled out.
Yeah, obviously, we're hoping people can be constructive. I know how the internet works, I know how social media works, and I know that, some people just can't help themselves, but, keep it constructive, keep it positive. It can be negative too, but, give us something to work with, and, we're at least gonna be ears. I can't promise you unicorns and rainbows, but we'll, get you your senior programs in less than 5 years, okay? We'll do our best to do that for you, okay? So, go ahead and take a roll for that.
Mr. Holstein?
Yes.
Mr. Markort?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Okay. So, back to page 2, item number 3, washroom and pavilion project for various parks. Do we have an update on
Mr.
that?
President, before you move on, if
Yes.
I could make a comment, the deadline to go in the May bills is already passed for the utility bills. I don't know if Jen might be able to get it in the June,
Okay.
billing, which will be the deadline at the end of May. And I could probably put it in the newsletter for the second quarter newsletter for those who don't have access to the internet but may still wish to partake. We can maybe use part of that park area to put the questions down and tell them to just write their answers down and drop them off at
Sure.
town hall.
That's great. I mean, and my vision with this is not that this is gonna be up for a month or 2 months or 3 months. This can stay up forever. I mean, I think it gives the community a easy access to live feedback. So maybe someone is happy with everything right now, and in 4 months, they're mad because of X, Y, Z, and we wanna know. So, obviously, our emails are on the town website, but the survey's there too, and we just wanna hear from people. We wanna know what people wanna, what people want. So, yeah, we'll work with that timeline, and, that's fine. Did Mr. Kubiak provide anything regarding item number 3? I would assume that would have been his.
The washroom, and pavilion project, we're still waiting on that. He is actually checking into a couple of other items, to see if potentially legally, since we had no bids the first time around, if we can suspend the bid process, but that, Attorney Austin is not with us tonight, so I can't defer to him.
Sure.
But he is looking into that. And I can tell you that the porta potties will be at the Bartlett Wahlberg Park from the first week of May through the season to run into October.
Okay. All right, so so the pavilion and the, what we discussed in the previous meeting, it hasn't gone back out to bid yet. We're still.
We've been trying, it's
Right. Sure.
No.
Okay. Item number 4 is playground improvements at various parks. We've discussed Kiwanis, that being the second one that's been completed. There's 3 more to do.
Cedar Creek has the playground.
Right, what the Cedar Creek does, Kiwanis has it. Dale, do you have anything regarding any of the other parks other than what we've discussed?
Not really, not yet.
Okay.
We're now getting to the point where we're starting to look at things and move forward with some ideas, so till we are ready to nail things down, I think we need to hold off on announcing things right now, so.
Sure.
I'll get back with you.
That's fine. Okay, moving on, written communication. I think I have some flyers here, but that's more for public comment. So I have no written communication unless Sarah or Greg do. Okay, moving on, we will open for public comment. Please, come on up, Diane.
You would have written public comments, or written comments, had I had a chance to grab the letter that,
I know everyone knows you, but just go ahead and
Yeah,
state your
Diane
name
Johnson,
and address for the record,
Chamber.
please. Thank you.
Carol Teets wrote a letter, and she dictated it to me because she felt she couldn't read her handwriting. So, anyway, it was about a problem in Minor Manor Park, at the basketball court, and she asked that you review that and possibly ticket people who are parking in areas in that park where there is only grass.
Mhm.
She feels that it's the children that are playing on the basketball court could be hit running between the cars that park there, and there's clearly signs that indicate no parking in that little area. So I had typed it up, as I say, sitting right at the top of my desk, but that was one of her concerns, and apparently it is concerns among other residents that live there. So I just wanted to tell you that I had left it on my desk.
No, that's okay. And so fortunately, I was there in person for the conversation, and I had asked her to write something. So I drove past Meyer Manor. What she's referring to is the basketball courts as you turn left off of Lakeshore Drive heading into the manor. There's that standalone basketball court. There is marked no parking, and apparently there are people parking on the grass. She has damage to her vehicle from asking someone to relocate. In not so many words, she basically said she would really appreciate seeing some sort of enforcement of that. I would assume that would come from the police department, that wouldn't be us.
Right.
So what I will do is I will send an email to Chief Fisher, expressing that concern and seeing what they can do about enforcing. And obviously, it's the world we live in, you know, people try to do the right thing and talk to people, and it results in irrational, irresponsible actions, and that's not something that we need Ms. Teets to deal with, you know, in the future.
And I will bring that letter in because she did sign it, and I'll drop it off maybe with Margaret and
Sure.
have it here.
Sure, and Margaret can pass that along to Chief Fisher, and I'll shoot him an email.
Good, good.
Thank you, Diane.
All right.
Good evening.
Hi there, could you please state your name and address for the record?
I'm Kara Gliwa, and I live on 12725 Morningville Drive in Hazelwood.
Awesome, how can we help you?
So I'm here to talk tonight about funding for our turkey bowling event. Key Club hosts it,
Okay.
and it's for special needs individuals. Something I'd like to bring to light is the fact that there's not many events put in place specifically for special needs people, but a lot of us don't have that issue of worrying about whether an event is accessible for us to go to, but they have to, and my family is an exception. My sister is 18 years old and she has cerebral palsy, and she's in a wheelchair, and it makes it hard to, you know, go to events and do different things, but anyways, nonetheless, having special events like turkey bowling gives my sister an opportunity, just like anyone else, to have a fun experience. So in order to host these events, we need funding to do so, and our Key Club has the manpower, but if we could have funding for different items like trophies for participants, cupcakes for the cakewalk, different snack items and gift bags that we hand out to the people who participate, that would be super helpful. Us for Key Club, we can provide a rent-free space, the bowling alleys, the bowling pins, and all of that fun stuff. But with all of that said, I would like to ask you guys to partner with us and to cover some of those expenses so that these special and appreciated people can have a fun and carefree experience.
Can you tell me your first name again, please?
Kara?
I am terrible with names, so forgive me for that, Kara.
No, it's okay.
So, Kara, first of all, I was a Special Olympics coach for 4 years down in Lowell, and my basketball kids won 3 gold medals down at state. It wasn't a three-peat. We weren't as cool as the Bulls, but we did it. I wanted to be a special education teacher till I realized I wouldn't be a good teacher. You know, I just would be a good friend for the special needs community. So, I think that's awesome what you guys are doing. The second thing I'd like to give you a little bit of ray of hope about, it's on my personal bucket list. For the record, this is not in the town plans. This is something that's down the road, but it will be on my wish list. I'd like you to take a look at Challenger Field out in Tinley Park, Illinois. It is a athletic facility specifically designed for people in wheelchairs and special needs so they can play baseball and do those types of things. I would love to see something like that in this area. It's going to take money, it's going to take time. It's on my wish list, and I want your family and other special needs families to have the same opportunities that, you know, every kid deserves. So I think that's great. As far as partnership, what I can tell you is we don't have, as a park board right now, a lot of working budget to financially support that. okay? That is something that we did come into this with a giant pot of gold. We're kind of bare bones right now regarding funding, okay? I'm going to look at Jen and maybe Colleen, and, I mean, there's really not a lot we can do as far as rights.
And I
That,
just don't have anything else.
that being said, I would love to find a way to help achieve that. So whether that's not as park board Dale Holste, just citizen Dale Holste, help you guys find funding mechanisms or reach out to businesses or whatever to see if I can help you guys, I'd be more than happy to do that. As time goes by, if there's a way that we can come across or come up with a way to provide funding for something like that, I think that's a great investment into the community. Unfortunately, I don't have the town checkbook. I don't even have the park checkbook, but I know that it's non-existent as far as that type of stuff. So the only other thing I'm going to throw out there, and if Sarah or Greg would like to chime in, eventually we're going to have a social media aspect to the Parks and Recreation Department, and social media is a very powerful tool at times. So, you know, my gut thought is, you know, when it comes time for this stuff, I don't think it hurts to share what's going on in the community to help you guys achieve those types of things. So unfortunately, Kara, as far as I'm concerned, I can't promise you financial right now, but I love what you guys do and what you're trying to achieve. And if there's some way I can help, I'd like to help individually. And I think there's plenty of other people that would. So, Kara, that's the best I got for you right now, okay?
Well, thank you for your time.
Sarah,
See
Greg?
see me at the end, and I have a good idea for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kara. Hi there.
Howdy, hello, I'm.
Howdy's fine. I'm informal. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
I'm Samantha Corey. I live on 12708 Havenwood Path in Cedar Lake, Indiana. I am here to represent Hanover Central's Key Club. Last year we were asked to help with the Parks Board Community Egg Hunt, and we were just looking to partner with the Parks Board to help run the future egg hunts. They have always been like a huge success, and the other Key Clubbers and I have fun partaking in the event setup, so we would be more than happy to continue to help with the future egg hunts. We are willing to help with however much y'all need. If you refer to your packets, the highlighted portion is what Key Club will provide. If this is something y'all are interested in, we will also be sending you a follow-up email.
Okay. So in the past, the egg hunt through the town has been handled through Ms. Sheben. We had some conversation. What are your thoughts on a partnership?
So I didn't look at this yet.
Sure.
To review it, this year we did not do an egg hunt because again, we have no funds whatsoever. So, I just decided you guys were doing it at the high school and the churches were all doing it, so we just didn't do an egg hunt. I have hoped to maybe raise some funds and have stuff for things like that next year. And you guys, the Key Club did come out and help me last year, and that was very nice. I was grateful for the help. We'll look into it as we go forward. Okay, yeah, we just honestly have no funds for anything like that right now. We have to do some fundraisers or some different things to figure out. From not having a park board for a couple of years and things like that, there was just no money to.
So, how about this? Send me that follow-up email, and as things evolve, we'll keep in touch and see what we can do to work with Key Club to help you guys out, or vice versa.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
Thank you for being willing to help.
Okay, anyone else for public comments?
I'm not going to any more village board meetings or town board meetings. This is this is the one I'm interested in.
Okay, very good. Well, welcome. And could you just state your name and address for the record,
My
please?
name is Lucy, you can call me Jane Griffin, Grissin. 13704 Birch Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. How I go about this, I'm talking about Kiwanis Park.
Yes, ma'am.
It's been sitting there for years since they donated it to the parks board, but they don't, the town did away with the parks, so now they got a park again, so Boy Scouts or somebody put in a water fountain. They helped clean up the park. My grandkids helped clean up the park. The land that was donated from the builder of Winding Creek, is it? I can't remember. It's,
The subdivision just south of there, correct? Yeah, I think.
no, the subdivision north of there.
Okay,
The subdivision south of there is Beacon. They want dogs.
okay.
And then these people spent all that money on that very expensive fence.
Mm-hmm.
The fence is huge,
Mhm.
and you may see one dog there a week.
Well, that's not open yet.
Well, people think it is, because they see
Right.
it there. and
I
there's
understand.
dogs there. They enclosed the water fountain that was for the kids, not for the dogs. Dogs don't get up and drink out of a water fountain.
That's a valid observation.
Okay, and then there is one bench over there. Well, I figured they'd build what do you call that? A kids' park over there.
Okay,
Put the dogs next to the railroad track.
okay.
And what a waste of money. That fence must have cost a fortune. Is that the money the Beacon Hill developers gave the town?
I'd have to.
Well, the town, Beacon, Kiwanis
Was that
Park.
park impact fees?
Parking back, please.
Okay.
Parking?
Park impact fees, ma'am.
Huh?
Park impact fees.
Oh,
So those are fees generated by the building permits in the town as a whole. They are,
you mean Beacon Hill didn't give all that money to Kiwanis Park for the dog park?
as I'm understanding it, it came from park
Well, then
impact
why
fees.
didn't the people here on the board require that every new subdivision put in their own park?
We still have to have town parks, and I already explained to you.
You didn't
The dog park
explain-
is not finished, the water fountain is gonna be moved, there's going to be a fountain in the fence for the dogs and a fountain outside for everybody else. We're going to have a pavilion,
Is
and we're going to have
fence gonna stay
basketball.
there?
We're gonna have, yes, it is.
Why did you make it so big? Are you
Because dogs
expecting,
require a lot of room to run. That's the only dog park that the town has.
well, the children require room too.
And they have lots of parks, we have 5 parks that we're working on, and we're putting in basketball courts for the older kids. There's the playground equipment for the younger kids, and there will be a pavilion there for people to have shade, and there will be water for the dogs and the people.
Well, it's disgraceful. I'm telling you right now.
We
You
can't
prefer
make
dogs,
everybody happy.
you prefer the big, expensive fence instead of the kids. And I got
Lots
news
of
for
people
you.
want dogs.
What about the
Dogs.
children that walk to the park? I'm talking about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
That's
Where
up
are
to
they gonna
their
go?
parents, that's up to their parents. If they wanna let their kids walk to the park, and they wanna play on the playground equipment, or play the basketball
How are
court,
they gonna go on a 2 to 5-year-old?
well, that's why we're putting basketball courts for the bigger kids.
Well, what about the girls that wanna, well, girls play basketball too. But what about, a sled, a slide, or a jungle gym?
We have stuff in our
Kids have to learn how to
Isn't gonna be the
exercise.
same.
The
We have
kids
five
are all
parks
sitting
around
in the
town.
house. Okay, I'm moving out of town. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Thanks for your time, Ms. Lucy.
Mr. President?
This is ridiculous.
I would like to just make a quick comment if I could.
Sure.
If you go to any other parks, any towns that have parks, all these dog parks are big, Crown Points, Valparaiso's. You can go look at these, and they are all that big, because there's things that are gonna be put in there. There's gonna be jumps for the dogs to do, and tunnels to go under,
What about the kids? What are they gonna do? Look at the
They're gonna
dogs
go out
jumping?
there, man, they're probably gonna go out there and run with the dogs and have some fun in the playground.
Miss Lucy, can I have you for one more second?
Go right ahead, go ahead.
This is an evolving project. This is,
Just like, I'm telling you, and just like in Peach Bite, I'm going. I
Okay.
can't stand this town no more because you guys are all a bunch of crooked guys.
okay, Miss Lucy, I appreciate your time and contribution to
Children
the
are
meeting.
so important, and you and your dogs. Sure, you pay a lot of money on those fences, I know. Don't tell me, I know how it works. Look at that stupid president we got.
Ma'am, you have a safe drive home.
Oh, God, forgive me for this, but I only turned Republican because I'm watching all the crooks and all the terrible things. But kids deserve more than dogs.
That's what we're trying to do. Have a good night, ma'am.
Good night.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Sue Zarate. I live at 9710 West 129th Place, and it's about senior activities.
Yes, ma'am, I'm all ears.
So if I have some ideas, who do I get the ideas to?
Well, the three of us, and Mr. Rodriguez, who's in Hawaii, he's got it rough right now. If you want to email him right now, that'd be amusing. Obviously, that survey's coming out. That would be one place that we could utilize that. If you go to the Town of Cedar Lake's website, our email addresses are listed.
Okay.
I can give you mine, or you can, it's dale.holsti, and I can slow down or repeat myself, whatever you need.
Small letters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. At cedarlakein.org. And Paul, Greg and Sarah and Paul, we're all on there. We're all on the internet.
Okay.
You can find all of us.
All right.
But, you know, that's the biggest thing I think I keep repeating in these meetings is that, you know, as parents of small children or grown-ups, regardless, we all identify that parks is greater than just children, and that there are middle-aged and seniors, and we have a diverse community that we need to come up with a plan and a program to provide for all ages, you know. So we hear you. Do you have anything else you'd like to give us feedback right now?
No, one thing I wanted to do was, I'm involved, some of us are with Bill's Friends, that if you have cancer, you know, they have care packages and stuff, so I would like to get a group of people together to make cards and journals for Bill's Friends.
I love it, and we have a place for you. We, as I said earlier, we keep looking at that Monastery Clubhouse as a great location. Get a pot of coffee paid for you.
In our backyard.
What's that?
That's in our backyard.
Well, exactly, so.
Walk over.
But I love it. That's a great cause and a great reason, and I love it, and we will absolutely keep that in mind. And again, we are keeping in mind that we have to address a diverse population.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much for your time.
I'll email you.
Well, you send me all the emails you want.
All right.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Jean Olenkamp, 14241 Sherman Street, and you guys put in the park next door.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just here on behalf of the residents of Woods of Cedar Creek to find out what exactly you are going to be doing. I know the park equipment is there right now. Is there going to be any fences?
There will be a pavilion
Correct.
and mulch, obviously, for the park. As far as fencing, I don't think there's been discussion of fencing yet.
What, like, is there going to be some type of a border? What is going, I mean, it's not just those plastic things, is it?
I'm sorry,
The
No, they're gonna be putting the mulch in there, the rubber mulch.
Okay, but, and it's just gonna have that plastic,
Well, that'll be the border, yes.
Are you, ma'am, just so we're all on the same page, are we referring to what's surrounding the play equipment?
yeah.
Okay, so the purpose of that is to retain the mulch in there, so it's not free-flowing all over the place. Is
So
there,
that is what it's gonna look like. Looks like it's under construction.
well, right now, I mean, technically it still is.
And we do have you do realize that there's like a 15-foot drop that as you walk and you don't see it and you step right off, okay?
No, and,
So when children get loose from their parents.
no, I understand, and again, just so you know, this is a work in progress, and that was discussed, and that's something that we need to consider.
Okay.
Again, I mean, it's just.
I mean, I'm really hoping they're not putting bathrooms right next to my house.
No, there's no plans for bathrooms over there,
Okay.
at least to the best of my knowledge.
Originally, I was told there was gonna be a fence around it, and, I mean, I hope it's better than what it looks like now, because right now, it's not really acceptable as a
Well, again, I mean,
barrier.
it's.
I understand you have to have a barrier for your mulch, but not construction barriers.
No, I don't.
think it's done. I
No.
mean, I think
Okay.
they just set the equipment down.
We're dealing with the weather,
Okay.
the way the weather has been, we can't get in there and do much right now. We're
Right, it's like,
trying to get in there
right.
as soon as we can, and, yeah. And they're talking about, we were gonna do wood mulch chips,
Correct.
but now the board members wanted to put the rubber mulch in there, which is really nice. It's gonna be nice when it's done.
Okay.
So, it's just a matter of time, you know. We wanted to put up the playground as quick as possible, let everybody see we're doing something. You know, the town's.
It's all older people in that subdivision, so it's really not a
But
big
old
deal.
people have grandkids.
We really kind of wanted swings that we could swing.
Well, and, you know, so.
Rather than baby swings. I mean.
But again, you know, as I said before, you know, that's the type of feedback we want, and if there's a way we can figure out to make it a little more.
Yeah, because we did send in a petition against the park.
And I think that,
And that was.
I hate to say the phrase, I think, you know, that was before we were created, so, you know, but again.
Do you know where the pavilion is going as far as, I mean, the park is so close to the street and over to one side of the house and the other one is, you know, far off, I mean, it's
Go ahead, Dale.
way.
As of right now, because we did take into account how the ground slopes down and goes down toward that back 10-foot drop, whatever it is back there that you're talking about. The pavilion will be up close to it, so as you're looking at it from the road, it's gonna be to the right of it. I don't know which house you are, but we put the playground to the left of center, so the pavilion can be there, so it's up on pretty much level ground as best as possible there.
Now, are you
So
gonna
there's
put
not a
the
lot of room
pavilion
there.
back or by the street also?
I'm sorry?
Are you putting the pavilion back
No,
or are you putting it
it's
up by
gonna
the
be
street?
up more, and it's not as big as like in some of these other parks that's there. It's just gonna be a smaller one, something that'll accommodate that small area. So, when it's done, it should look very nice. So, it's a good place for, you know, families there in the community to go, sit, maybe have a little cookout, bring your little grill, enjoy that corner that the town has owned that has been vacant for a long time. The town wanted to do something with it.
Right.
So, instead of leave it vacant. So, you know, there's only so much we can do there, but we're trying. And I like that. I think what everybody here is trying to accomplish is good for the community. Community comes first. That's what we're trying to change,
Okay,
all right?
so it's not gonna look like construction when it's done?
Ma'am, I tell you what, I drove past there recently. No, I drove past there
I
recently.
live there every day.
Yeah.
I see it daily.
I understand, and I drove past it the other day, and I mean, it's still a work in progress. It's not,
Yeah, it's all
it's,
caution up and everything, and
Yeah,
people
it's-
don't want to be using it, it's not ready.
it's not the finished
It's just
product.
down there, it just got set.
It's like you're building a house, and it takes time before the finished product,
Well,
right?
I'm just saying your border.
The border is gonna stay there because it has a purpose.
Okay.
It is what it is. That's what comes with the playground. It's a very good sturdy border. So,
Okay,
some people might not the way it looks, but it's a good one.
okay,
It will suffice.
thank you.
Thank you for your input, ma'am. Is there anyone else for public comment? Second call for public comment?
I think the gentleman.
Oh, go ahead.
I got a letter here from the state, if you'd like to read it for your reference, and you could keep this, Dale.
Sure, thanks, Archie. Did you want me to read this, Archie?
Correct.
Okay, so this is a letter dated February 20th of 2001 to Mr. Kralik of 14003 Lowerman. Dear Mr. Kralik, thanks for your support of the Indiana Heritage Trust Program and Hawkinson Marsh at Cedar Lake. It is my pleasure to inform you that Governor O'Bannon approved this project for funding on February 16th of 2001. The purpose of this Indiana Heritage Trust Program, as established in 1992 under IC 14-12-2-1, is to acquire real property for new and existing state parks, state forests, nature preserves, fish and wildlife areas, wetlands, trails, and river corridors. The program shall ensure that Indiana's rich natural heritage is preserved or enhanced for succeeding generations. Due to the support of citizens like you, this program has become one of the most beneficial natural heritage programs ever established. Thank you for your support. Signed, Eric Myers.
All right, this was dated February 20th, 2001, and they got this money for Lake County for this area, and somewhere between then and now, it got lost as far as the general public being able to use this land. It's like, I would venture to say 4 to 5% of the land that's inside the town limits of Cedar Lake. And I think that's where they're gonna put the, water line to get the muck out of Cedar Lake going across that property. So, I'd like to see someone look into it and see why we can't use it as, area for the town people.
Okay.
All right, I think, Greg has got a map here from the county. You have that map?
This one here?
Yeah, county parks.
Yes.
All right, it shows it as, you can show Dale, as a green area, just like.
I can't find you. No, I can find you now. Right here. What do you say? Okay.
Like Little Lake County Park, the town park in Low, Indiana, shows it for public use. And as it is right now, there's 3 entrances to this land, one by Pinecrest Marina, one at the very south end of the lake by La Tulips, and one in Creston at the very south end. And they all have a gate across, or a cable there, and a padlock in there. And the general public can't get back in there. There's a lake back there, there's a shelter back there, where if you want to go and have a picnic, or go back there and go fishing, and we don't have access to it. So I'd like to see.
I believe that is a county park.
There you go.
Right.
In the town limits of Cedar Lake.
The county owns the property.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we can't get to it. It's padlocked shut. In the town limits of Cedar Lake.
That would be a county issue.
That would be a county issue.
Well,
I believe that, that is a county park.
are you gonna check into that for me?
I will, I'm gonna look for it.
Okay,
I'm gonna see what I can find out.
all right. That was it.
Thanks.
Thank you, RJ.
Perfect.
Okay. Anybody else for public comments?
Mary Jo Dixon, 8711 West 132nd Place. When the court treasurer gave you a fund report, you didn't make it public. Would you be willing to make those numbers public?
You're referring to this here? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Mary Joan,
Yes.
do you want me to read it, or do you want that uploaded? What would you like me to do?
I'd like you to read it, if you wouldn't mind.
No, absolutely.
Just so everyone.
Absolutely. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. So we have a expense of $182.80 out of Menards for Kiwanis Electric. Amazon Capital Services for park impact fees, miscellaneous supplies, Kiwanis Dog Park electrical panels at the amount of $402.84. Clubhouse equipment, appliances, cabinetry, and furnishings, Central Products LLC, $25,861.95. And then park impact fee, capital outlay for new toys, leisure projects, playground equipment, posts, borders, timbers, at the amount of $167,76,000. So the total for this was $187,223.59. breakdown of that was $32,293 for, clubhouse, $22,589.81. Am I reading this right, though? Hang on a second.
Just to clarify,
No.
Jill, those numbers that you're reading right now, so for, year-to-date, what we've spent on improvements at the clubhouse has been $32,293.79. Towards the Kiwanis Park improvements, $22,589.81. And total park equipment money, $166,789.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Anything else for public comment? Public comment 2 times? Public comment 3 times? Okay, we will call the meeting adjourned. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion it.
Okay, got a motion from Sarah,
And I'll second that.
second from Greg. Okay, meeting adjourned at 7:11 PM. The next meeting will be